Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going back to basics with a build focused on pure, unadulterated performance per pound, all while keeping things looking sleek. This build is also a bit special because it's likely my last high-end AM4 build. Don't worry, AM4 isn't going anywhere and I still be building plenty of PCs with it, but future AM4 builds will focus on the upper mid-range. So no RTX 80 class GPUs or higher unless we're talking 20 series or RDNA 2. But for this build, we're cranking everything up to 11. We've already seen in a previous video that the 5700 X3D trace blows with and sometimes even beats the 7700 in gaming, so we're starting with a seriously powerful CPU. And because we're going all out, I paired it with our X570 motherboard. This tough gaming board looks fantastic and packs a ton of features, including both 12V and 5V ARGB for some synchronized lightning goodness. For memory, we've got 32GB of Corsair Vengeance RAM running at a speedy 3600 Mbps CL80. I briefly considered 3200, but remembering how sensitive X3D chips are to memory bandwidth, I decided against that particular trade-off. Now, where I did save some cash without sacrificing performance was with this Deep Cool RGB cooler. It utilizes a 12V RGB header on our tough board and it keeps this 105 CPU running cool and boosting to its max frequency indefinitely. Remember, with the 5000 series X3D chips, AMD has locked everything overclocking related, so 105 watts is the maximum power draw. I snagged an amazing deal on this Corsair case. The airflow is fantastic and the price was ridiculously good, only £40. The only downside, it came without fans. But hey, for 40 quid for a proper Corsair case, I can't complain. Storage is handled by a lightning fast 1TB NVMe drive and powering everything is a reliable 750W GB PSU. Both are perfectly suited for this build. There's a secondary NVMe slot for future expansion, which is good because I haven't realized I'm completely out of standard hard drives. And finally, we have the star of the show, the RTX 3080 Founders Edition. For some reason, I always underestimate this card. I tend to think of it as just a slightly better 3070, but it's so much more than that. I actually used this card for 2 years before upgrading to the 4090 and I know how capable it is. Every time I put one in a build though, I'm blown away by how much performance this offers. In heaven, we got 219 FPS at 1440p Ultra while recording. All benchmarks are done with internal recording to simulate a real-world streaming scenario. I will be using DLSS where available, but no frame generation. It's still amazing to me that a dual slot card can push 330 watts without melting. This should have been a 2.5 or 3 slot card though, not as chunky as the 4000 series, but a bit more robust. Temps are good though, and I know this card was recently serviced, so no need for a repad. 3D Mark got us a solid score of around 4500 again while recording. Without recording, it scores even higher than the average. In Rocket League, we got silly FPS as expected, averaging 380 FPS dipping to the mid 300s with a buttery smooth frame graph. For Fortnite, I cranked everything to epic, including ray tracing. Looks stunning running on the average of 80 FPS. Fortnite has become a surprisingly demanding game, which I love, makes for a great benchmark. Horizon Forbidden West got over 100 FPS on average, amazing performance with the game looking this good. I accidentally left DLSS unbalanced instead of quality, but honestly on my 34-inch monitor I didn't even notice. For Black Myth Wukong, I got an initial shock at 23 FPS, then realized I left the settings for the 4080 Super on, so yeah. Still impressive it ran all at cinematic quality with maxed out ray tracing. After I dialed it down to very high with low RT, we jumped into a very playable 44 FPS. This CPU crushed Assassin's Creed Mirage with 108 FPS on average and 1440p. That's 3070 1080p territory. Performance has been a bit variable lately and the GPU seems to be running below its max power draw at 276 watts, but over 100 FPS is great. Not exactly sure what the latest patch has done, but I hope they fix it soon. Farcry 6 got 113 FPS on average without ray tracing, because the RT effects are a bit underwhelming in this one. Even with the X3D CPU, total utilization was still surprisingly low. But like Assassin's Creed, over 113 FPS on average, I can't really complain with that, can I? Dragon Age the Veil God is a new addition to my benchmark suite, and this PC handled it like a champ with an average of 80 FPS. Some fluctuation, but the frame time is smooth, so it's not noticeable unless you have a counter on screen. Being a new release, performance will likely improve. I really wanted to wait for the RTX 5090 to play it so I can crank everything up for no reason, but I'm so tempted to play it now because it looks so good. And finally, Cyberpunk 2077 that posted 73 FPS on Ultra and it looks incredible. Shows how much drivers and the game itself have improved over the years. When I first played it on a 3080 Fe and a 5950X, I struggled to get even 55 FPS, which was annoying, and that wasn't even with the highest RT settings. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.